Hi guys, so welcome to my channel. This is Kirti Novels from Kirti Novels. This is like my debut video which I've been wanting to do for a very long time. Always wanted to start an YouTube channel, and one thing which came to my mind, my biggest passion is reading books. Love to read even as much as 100 books a year, and hopefully I'll be able to read that much, but let's see, fingers crossed. So today I'll be reviewing the last thing. No, not this book. Today I'll be reviewing the Mysterious Agatha Styles. So I usually read from my Kindle because it's a lot cheaper to buy books electronically than to buy them printed. But if it is a really interesting books, I do buy the printed versions. I have few books. I don't know where I kept them. Must be in my cupboard. Okay. I do have a printed copy of Where the Crawdads Sang, and I'm planning to buy few Stephen King books, and of course I have the hard copy of every Harry Potter books. But today we'll talk about Mysterious Agatha Styles, and if you want to have a Kindle review, just let me know in the comment section. So this is a Kindle Paperwhite 11 with a flush front design. So Mysterious Agatha Styles is the first book which Agatha Christie wrote. It is also the first book in Hercule Poirot series. If there was any human being in the world who could be considered as the queen of crime novels, it will be Agatha Christie. Anybody who loves crime and profiling and in criminal investigation, psychology, criminal psychology, storyboarding, evidence analysis, tips and tricks how to solve a murder crime, even if you remotely like it, Agatha Christie is your god. And the more fun fact about this book is, this is the first time I'm reading this particular novel, but this book was released in 1920, and I'm reading it in 2022, which is almost 102 years, 2 years later, and this will interest me so much. The book is really good. Like, do keep in mind the style of writing is like in 1920, so it will be different. And another good thing is, like, I like Sidney Sheldon books too, but I think I only like 10 or 15 books. 20, I think 10, 12, 15, maximum 15. But Agatha Christie, I think she has around 70 to 100 books which she has written. Even that number may be wrong, but 100% she has written at least 40 Hercule Poirot books. So you'll never get bored. And these Hercule Poirot series started in 1920 and it went all the way till 1975. So almost 5 decades, like almost 3 different generations, she has taken this Hercule Poirot. I think even in she must have started writing in during World War III. And my country in India, we got independence in 47. And she tracked it all the way till 1975. So there's so much you can learn, and really like this book a lot. So if you're someone who's new to crime novels, you love thriller series, this is where you have to start. You'll be so impressed, and definitely I would really recommend to any beginner, and especially this book, even if you want to give it to your child, 10-year-old child or 5-year-old, 7 or 8-year-old child, I think this is a good recommendation. So now, into the book. Hercule Poirot, I think he's a Belgian, and he's a detective. So he must be the biggest role model for all those FBI agents, Scotland Yard people, and those secret Swiss service people, and for our country IPS officers for solving murder investigations. So he's a really smart guy. He's really good. The way Agatha has described him, like he's the epitome of being an obnoxious detective. To put in a nutshell, he's really obnoxious, he's really good at what he does, and he's really good at solving puzzles and creating storyboardings. There are few instances where, like, this is not how she described. Her English is obviously way better. Like, who am I to say that? But her English, her writing is obviously good. But, there are these instances when he's at a crime scene and he'll be telling his friend Hastings in the book, in this Mysterious Affairs book, like, can you stop thinking? I'm trying to concentrate here. I'm thinking something. So you guys thinking is polluting my thinking. And then at some other place, when he's trying to come up with a storyboarding with Hastings, he'll be like, how can you not know things? Like, you cloud your memory with all unnecessary details, like something so simple which is right in front of your eyes. How can you miss it? Honestly, if imagine Devil Wears Prada in a male sense, but like the world's best detective, that's Hercule Poirot. So at the end of this video, I'll also try to read out some of my favorite quotes from this book. But then, to talk about this story, Hastings has come back from war and he's settling down in England. It's not in US, it's in UK. The story in England is of course UK. So he tries to settle down in UK. Back in his hometown. So he goes to meet his friend, the Ingletops. So that is this lady of the mansion who is also a Ingletop, but she has married a new Cavendish. So what happens is, by the end of second or third chapter, someone murders the lady Cavendish. So it's up to Hastings, who's the visitor, and there are only like 8 or 9 people in that house during that time. A doctor who visits, and I forgot the name of that lady. No, Cynthia Murdoch. Oh, sorry. Ingletop is her second husband, and it is the Cavendish family, John Cavendish family, like where Mr. Hastings goes and stay, and then the murder takes place, and then Hastings invites, and then Hastings ends up meeting this Belgian detective, Hercule Poirot, and they both solve this crime. And there are other people, 2 main people, a Dr. Bauerstein and Cynthia Murdoch, who's like an adopted daughter, and she gets murdered with the help of a poison. Now, if you have watched Murder on the Orient Express, if you look at the setting, the murder has been done on the train, and the train did not stop. So the murderer will be on the train. Likewise, in this story, in that Styles mansion, it's the mansion's name where the Cavendishes stay. It is the Styles mansion, and there are only like 5 to 10 people there. There are 2 sons for the Cavendishes, like Emily Cavendish's ex-husband's children, and the elder son has a wife, and then there is this adopted daughter, Cynthia Murdoch. The family doctor comes, and that's it, like very few people. And then there's a maid, Evelyn Howard, and then Emily's, who actually passes away, the the lady of the mansion, Emily Inglethorpe, like her current husband Alfred Inglethorpe is there. So it's just these people and Hastings. Now it's very obvious one of them poisoned her. Now, who poisoned her, why they poisoned her, how they poisoned her, and when they poisoned her. So this is what Hercule Poirot will figure it out. Now, one thing I like about this is, until you reach the last chapter, you can keep guessing, and the best part is the reader. Every reader can form his own opinions. Like, I could literally have this as like if only had this for literature review for one of my high school English classes, I'll be like, oh my god, thank god. It's easy, but at the same time it's so complicated. Like, I can pick any one of these character apart from the person who died. I'd write like an essay why that character tried to murder this person. So that is enough, like, evidences or some doubts which the author throws at you to figure out like why this person might have killed, and this question mark is there on everybody's head. So that is the best part of this book. So until you reach the last chapter, there is a scope to say anybody could have been a murderer, and that's the best part of this thriller book. Whereas modern novels, like I'm currently reading Last Thing He Told Me, and then I read Silent Patient last week. Everything is good, but then these are the black people like with a shady past, and these are the white people like who wants to do the good things. Maybe one person turns out to be other person, vice versa, but there are these groups of people and just two or three murder suspects. But in this book, this entire Cavendish family, and then Emily, who was the murder victim, and her husband Inglethorpe, and Howard, and the maid Howard, and then the Miss Murdoch, who's like adopted. Anybody could have been a murderer until the last chapter. So do watch it, do read this book, and let me know in the comment section if you like it. And I won't tell you who the murderer is. I'm not that bad. Yeah, and also since I got this from Kindle, they had actually added an alternative ending which Agatha Christie had written. So the ending is same only, but the way Hercule, the way he unveils the murderer to the Styles mansion or to that society, there is one dramatic version which is added as an extra chapter after the book is over. And then there's this regular book which was released in 1920. So I was able to read it with like two different meters, like two different way of revealing who the murderer is, and I'm really glad I got this from Kindle. So do buy it from the Kindle store and let me know. What I'll do now is I'll just quickly log on to my good notes and I'll read you few favorite quotes from this book. I'm not sure if that will work, but we'll see. My Wi-Fi is not working. This will take some time, guys. I think I'll keep you engaged till then. So I would say this book is better than Sidney Sheldon because it's more relatable. This is something which is suitable for kids also. You could totally give it to a 10-year-old child or something. Okay, this is not good notes, it's Goodreads. I'm sorry. I'm so excited. This is my first video. And we'll see. So, anybody could read this book. So, if you want to give it to your nephews or nieces, I think you should just go ahead and gift it to them. That is this book version with a blue color cover. So, I think if you want, you should buy that. Yes, I am here. I'm here in Goodreads, but I'm not sure if I have connected my highlights from Kindle to this. I have 9 highlights. Don't worry, it won't be spoilers. So yeah, so one quote is, "My dear Hastings, I don't mind telling you that I'm at my wit's end for money." Like, this is how obnoxious Hercule Poirot is. Like, he's very smart in his replies. Subtly is little bit cunning. So this is the first book in Hercule Poirot series, and this is how Agatha Christie describes him. Poirot was an extraordinary looking little man. He was hardly more than 5 feet 4 inches, but carried himself with great dignity. His head was exactly the shape of an egg. He always perched it little on one side. His moustache was very stiff and military. The neatness of his attire was almost incredible. I believe a speck of dust would have caused him more pain than a bullet wound. I think he's like a typical IPS officer, probably better than that. Yeah, I think if you have seen The Murder on the Orient Express, it's the similar it's a similar description. And imagination is a good servant and a bad master. The simplest explanation is always the most likely. I think sometimes the most simplest explanation to a murder investigation is the correct answer, because it's not like some scientist doing it to prove a point. It's just people doing it because they are that stupid to solve a problem. They think murder will only solve a problem. It's always wise to suspect somebody until you can prove logically and to your own satisfaction that they are innocent. This exactly sums up the entire book. So until the last chapter, I think you will have to suspect everybody, because anybody could have been the murderer except the victim, of course. The instinct is a marvelous thing, mused Poirot. It can neither be explained nor ignored. I like the way she writes. You know, like these gives us insights into how a detective or a police officer thinks. And the last one, the happiness of one man and woman is the greatest thing in all the world. I think this drives how world leaders think and what happens around us in the world and etc. So really, if you really want to enjoy a book with a lot of insights into philosophy and how this relationship between the civilian who want to be who want to be a detective, Mr. Hastings, and with the world-renowned detective Poirot, it's more of that friendship and how a poison murder investigation is completed. I think you should check this out. Do read it and mention in the comment section if you have liked it, and even if you have constructive feedback for my book review, do let me know. This is my first video and I hope I improve in the future. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye. Bye.